guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a bookish video. You heard that right. Today we're not going to be vlogging, but I am so excited because I went thrifting. I went to Savers and I found so many good books, and all of them were between $3.99 and $6.99, and they also have an ongoing deal of buy 4 books and get 1 free. So I'm so excited to be sharing all 15 books with you, and all of them are mystery, thriller, horror, because you guys know that those are my favorite genres. So let's get right into it. So first up we have The Haunting by Natasha Preston. This one's a YA or young adult. We're following Penny, our main character, who was dating this guy, and they break up because his father ends up being a serial killer. So she's trying to move on, and this one takes place in Halloween. So her friends go shopping for a costume and they end up finding a friend or someone from school bleeding on the floor. And now everyone suspects Nash, her ex, but she thinks that there's a copycat killer on the loose. So this one sounds so good. And another interesting part is this is called The Haunting, but I don't think it has anything to do with ghosts. It's about a serial killer. So yeah, I still haven't read anything from Natasha Preston. I think she mainly writes for young adults, but this sounds so good, and I think it's gonna be a wonderful read for spooky season. Next up we have Hemlock by Kirsten Maudlin. This one we're following Maggie, our main character, who leaves her small town and she vows to never return, but now something happens that brought her back and she's looking for a home. She ends up buying this house, but weird things start happening, spooky things, and it says here there's something sinister about her new home, and in order for her to survive she must find out what happened in that house and its history. And it sounds so spooky, so good. I'm not sure if this one is a ghost story, but it sounds like it's a haunted house, and I absolutely love a haunted house, so this sounds so good. Next up we have The Tenant by Katrine Enberg. This one, I think it's a British or European novel, but this one's about a woman who was killed in her apartment. Her face is all carved up. It's a gruesome murder, and the police are trying to find out who the killer is. But there seems to be a link between her and her landlady. Her landlord is also a writer, and the interesting part is her book is so similar to the way that woman was killed. So the police are trying to find out if that's just a coincidence or is she tied to that killing. Next up we have The Girls Who Disappeared by Claire Douglas, and this one I think it's also a British novel. It takes place in England, and there's this road that's called the Devil's Corridor. Spooky things happen on that road. People have gone missing. They say you can hear a child crying, and 4 girls are driving and they have an accident. So 3 of the girls are gone. They're missing, disappeared, and 1 of them is okay. So they don't know what happened to those girls, but now we have our main character Jenna, who is not a local from that town, but she's there to investigate this case and find out what happened to those girls. But she is getting threats and warnings from the locals telling her to forget about that case, to leave, or she's gonna have a dark fate. So this one sounds eerie, spooky, a good mystery. Next up we have Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll, and this one we're following our main character Annie, who as a teenager had something very humiliating happen to her, and that kind of scarred her for life. So she tries to move on, and now as an adult she's living a glamorous life. She has a great job, a rich husband, everything is perfect. But she is hiding something linked to her past that threatens to ruin her perfect life. So this one's a thriller, it's a psychological suspense, and I feel like it's gonna be so twisty and suspenseful. I can't wait for this one. It says her perfect life is a perfect lie. So this one sounds so good. Next up, we have Those Empty Eyes by Charlie Dahlia. This one we're following our main character, Alex, who as a teenager, her family was murdered and the media thought that she was responsible, so they nicknamed her Empty Eyes. But now, years later, she's in college, she's trying to move on when a friend goes missing. So they think that that girl's boyfriend is responsible, but Alex doesn't think so, and she goes on her own to investigate. And as she does, she's finding that there's a lot of cover-ups about rape and other things taking place at this college campus. So as she continues her investigation, she finds that there's a lot of connections between this girl who went missing and her family's murder. Next up, we have The Last House Guest by Megan Miranda. This one says it's the ultimate thriller. Don't overstay your welcome. So this one takes place in Maine, and this little town is known for a lot of visitors that come and go, but no one usually stays for long except this one girl, Sadie, who ends up forming a strong friendship with a local, and she comes every summer and stays until one day she's found dead. And they rule it out as a suicide, but her friend thinks that there's more to it, and she believes that maybe the locals are responsible. So she's out to investigate. This one sounds so interesting, and I think it will be a great read for the summer. Next, we have Road of Bones by Christopher Golden. This one takes place in Siberia, Russia, and this highway is known to be snowy and dangerous, and a lot of car accidents happen there. But also, it is a massive graveyard of prisoners during the Soviet Union. They were just left there to die. But now, our main character is going there with his team to film a documentary on this town, on this highway, when they find that the town is completely abandoned except for a 9-year-old, a little girl who is catatonic. She is not talking, moving. It's so strange. And this one is a supernatural thriller, so I love that. And I also love that it has a little bit of history. This sounds so good and perfect for the winter. Next, we have The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. And this one sounds so unique, so different. So we're following Aiden, I guess our main character, and he has to find the killer of Evelyn Hardcastle. But he wakes up every day as a different person in this house, and I guess she continues to die every day until he finds who the killer is. This one's like a locked room mystery, Agatha Christie vibes, and it just sounds so interesting. And I think that there was a movie made. I don't know if it was exactly based on this, but I think it was inspired by this book. I might be mistaken, but this girl like wakes up every day and dies a different death until her friends can find out who the killer is. So I think it's just a very interesting concept, so I can't wait to read this one. Next, we have The Maid by Nita Prose, and I think this one is part of a series. This is the first book in the series, and we're following our main character who is kind of socially awkward. She struggles in social situations, and she works as a maid in this luxurious hotel. She loves her job. So one day she's cleaning one of the rooms and she finds one of the guests dead in his room, and he's this super wealthy man, but they quickly suspect her as the killer just because, again, she's a little awkward and just the way she acts and everything is very suspicious. So she's on the hunt to try to find out who the killer is and clear her name. So this one sounds really good, and again, it's part of a series. Next up, we have Labyrinth by Catherine Coulter. This one we're following Special Agent Sherlock. She's a detective, and she gets into this car accident. She hits a man, but this man disappears. He runs away from the scene, but later they find out that he's like some important detective or someone related to the sheriff, I believe. So aside from that, there are these women who were killed and kidnapped, but one of them survived, and I think that man is linked to those killings. So it's an intriguing mystery where she's trying to find out who that man was that she hid, and he ends up disappearing, and is he connected to those kidnappings and killings. So this one sounds interesting. However, I don't know if I'm going to be reading this anytime soon because this is part of a series, the FBI series, and it's number 23 in the series. So I usually like to read books in order if they are part of a series, and even if they're standalones, but I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna Google and see if this is okay as a standalone just because it's number 23, or I might go and find the first book and just work my way to this, but it sounds very interesting. So yeah. Next, we have All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. This one, there's a little girl who goes missing and she's later found dead. So years later, her neighbor leaves that town. They never find who the killer is. Her neighbor, 20 years later, has to return back to that town to care for her sick uncle. And there's another little girl who goes missing with in similar circumstances as her neighbor 20 years ago. So now she's intrigued. She wants to uncover what's going on in this town. Why are these girls missing? But the townspeople are acting weird. Her family's acting weird. The police are acting weird. And now she thinks that the town knows what has happened to these girls and there might be a cover-up. Next, we have Ski Weekend by Rectalk Ross, and this one is a YA as well. This one is about 6 teenagers, one dog who go on a ski trip. They're gonna have so much fun, they're so excited, but their car breaks down. And I don't know if they're like in the middle of the storm, but now it becomes a fight for survival. So this one sounds so high stakes and perfect for the winter as well. Next up, we have another YA. This one's Delicious Monsters by Lucille Samberry. So there's this little girl, Daisy, who has the ability to see ghosts. She sees dead people, and her mom moved to this mansion that they inherited, and she goes missing. So now 10 years later, we're following Brittany, who I guess is our main character, and she has this haunted house series that she films, and she decides to investigate what happened to this little girl that went missing all those years ago. But there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of secrets that she's gonna uncover, and this one sounds so good. It's also, I think, the chunkiest book of the lot, but it sounds really good, and I've never read from this author, but it sounds so interesting and spooky. And last, you guys, we have The Return of Ellie Black by Emiko Jean. And we're following our main character, Chelsea, who is a detective, and her sister went missing years ago when they were teenagers. They never found out what happened to her, and she's been trying to find closure and move on. But there's another girl who went missing, and 2 years later she reappears, and that is Ellie. She is different. She is not saying where she was, what happened, who kidnapped her, if that's what happened. She's not saying anything. So Chelsea is trying to find out what happened and uncover that mystery of these girls that go missing, and maybe she's able to find out what happened to her sister. That is it, you guys. Those are all the books that I got at Savers. Don't forget to check out your local thrift store. You never know what you can find. And also let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite out of the bunch, if you've read any of these. I'm so excited to read your comments. So don't forget to subscribe, like, leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!